Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, it's quite bright in here today. I'm just looking at the viewfinder and I am that pale. This last year I haven't got out much. Not that I get out much anyway, but anyway, I'm already starting to drift off topic already. Hopefully the title will say this is a unboxing, although they're not actually in the box, but an unboxing of some 28mm Napoleonics and 30 Years War figures. They are Avanpost, I believe from the Soviet Union then, the Russian Federation, and I bought them from these guys, Mezza's Minis here in the UK. I did get excellent service from them, told me they'd received the money, which I know is a PayPal thing anyway, but told me within 24 hours, whatever it was, that it was being packaged and posted and all that good stuff, and they were with me a day or two later, and that was with our public bank holiday over here. So that was really great. I've gone for both of these. I'd seen these a couple of years ago, maybe 3, and it was they'd only been shown on the Facebook group, the Napoleonic War Gamer, and somebody had said, "Have you seen these figures?" And I was quite impressed with them. They were only resin then. They're metal now, but they were only resin at the time. And the only thing I had that for me marked down against them was they were quite static. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Napoleonics, as we all know, and you've seen enough of my painted units to do for people. Often they are static in the sense of stood to attention or something like that. And that was the only thing that I could find against them, apart from being resin. And I'm not knocking resin because I work in it a lot, on busts and larger display figures and the Harry Potters and things like that. But if you're going for wargaming figures, there isn't a feel for them here in the UK. I would stick my neck out and say, people see them as fragile. They see them obviously as there's a lot more cleanup involved health-wise and all that type of stuff. And it turns out I've actually bought some metal and some resin. The 30 Years Wars are resin, and that's all you could get those at. And the Napoleonics are metal. What I'm hoping to do with these is I'll be selling these on, but I'm going to put them actually, for the first time, I'm going to put them on something like these round plastic bases, a bit like the Games Workshop ones, but probably go for a dished effect rather than the flat topped. Just so I can play around with the base a bit. And I'm going to just do individual soldiers, and I'm going to sell them as a shameless plug, I suppose. That's only just entered my head. I will sell them as individual collectors' soldiers, rather than, people could still game with them, but something that can be put on the shelves. I've already had a look at them, because why wouldn't I bought them, and they are excellent figures, and we should go down to the bench now and have a look. Just again reiterate, as I've just mentioned it, I've bought these figures myself. I've no connection to Mezza's Minis, although I am a Facebook friend of Mezza but we don't have anything particularly to do with each other. And I've paid for these. As I say, this isn't no favours. I've not asked for them, to give them a review or anything like that. These are bought by me. These are my own words, and just wanted to put that out there, just to make sure that this isn't a paid promotion. Right, guys, join me at the bench. Let's have a look. Right, guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Let's have a look. Forgive the grubby fingers, I do try and clean them, but it's about as best as you're going to get. Now we're going to have the same problem here, that the light might well play up with us because of the shininess of the metal. The metal is quite hard, as you can see. It's a stick the arms on and sabres or anything else that they've got. This is an artillery officer. These are all French, by the way. They started out doing French. I think they've got some British now. I did look, but there wasn't the ones I was particularly looking for straight away. So they also now do some mounted figures. Well, they've got some mounted officers, but they're now bringing in cavalry as well and artillery. And this artillery officer you can make up obviously gun crew with, and he comes with these, obviously arms and a sabre. You can see you've got nice mounting points. The pegs on the arms, yes, they've attached the moulding piece there, but that's probably the best place for it to go. That's a seam there in the cloth by the look of it, rather than a moulding line. I mean, these shouldn't be old moulds anyway, so they should all be fairly crisp, and they are, as far as I can see. But yep, that's our artillery officer. You can see the plume work is very nice. I like that a lot. There's very little clean up. You know, if any, a scalpel will take care of the odd little bit, but I can't see any worms. There's a slight mould. I mean, they've got to have some mould lines. Obviously, they're moulded figures, but it's just on the inside of the leg there. There's a very slight mould line, and I feel one there. You can just about see it where you'd expect it to be. But again, I think that's more a case you can clean that off with a scalpel rather than getting the file to it. This is a line officer in Bicorn. Again, I like the facial details. Again, just get a bit of shade on it. The hair there, just clean slightly under the bicorn. Again, beautiful. You know, that, look how finely detailed that is compared to some of the others that you can buy. Again, nice mounting points. I know people don't. Some people don't like metal, but really, I don't see what the difference between doing this is, say, than doing a plastic figure, in the sense of, you know, snipping these off and attaching them. Obviously, once I've done them, I'll let you know how the actual seam work is. Does it need any filling at all? I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these yet, in the sense of regiments, whether I'm going to keep them French, whether I do them in foreign service. It just depends, especially with like shakos and that on the. Go back to this guy here. Come on, focus. Just see the lozenge type diamond plate of the shako plate there. So, you know, you're depending on what you can get away with. We've got a Grenadier company drummer here. Again, line regiment. And he's got the bearskin. Well, obviously you can see that. The cords. Very nicely done again. Very nice. Backpack to go on there. Got a big lug there. For myself personally, just get a junior hacksaw rather than trying to hack it off with a scalpel blade and just snap it and bounce it in your eyes or something. Get a junior hacksaw. You can buy them at the cheap pound shops, like the Range sell them, and you know, just take a couple of minutes to saw through that. Don't put it in a vise, obviously, and wreck the figure. I mean, it's easy enough just to hold it and cut it. I may even take the entire bases off these yet, I'm not 100% sure. Although to do that, it'll be a bit of a pain in the bum, to be honest, getting through. So another reason with the sunken bases is maybe cover over them that way. I just thought if I'm going to do it as a collective figure, I might as well use that type of base rather than the usual MDF. And this is probably the most involved, as in parts to it. Drumsticks, which will just need a bit of bending. Let's not bend them too much and snap them on the camera. We've got our straps for the drums. Look like the swallow's nest type of thing. Well, I don't know if it's actually swallow's nest, but you know, give you something to paint on you to make as a drummer. We've got a very tiny sword. Focus in your own time. Here we go. Backpack, which I think is very nice as well. Again, the attachment for that's not a problem. Take that off nice and easy. and our drum. And the attachment point to that is just on the lug there that you're going to put into there. So as you can see, they're not, they shouldn't be too hard to attach. You shouldn't have them busting off. Well, you shouldn't have them busting off anyway, really. Very slight bit of pitting there. Not too much on the top. Yeah, very nice, I like that. And then we've got voltigeur of the line. Big casting lug again there. I don't think that even on the drum that might not be pitting. It might actually be just in the cast where it's come out the mould. I like this figure particularly. It's a bit hard to see without the when you've got the arms off, but come on, it's taking a while to focus today for some reason. But yeah, there's our musket bayonet, nice and scale. But yeah, he's reaching back, as you can see, into the cartridge box. Yeah, very nice. And then backpack as well. And he's got the cover on that. Made that nice and stripy, I think. Right, now these, I've gone onto Mezzi's just to make sure, because it doesn't actually say on the packets what they are, and I haven't ordered before, so I can't remember. I know I should do enough. I do enough laps to know what I'm looking at, but it's never the case. And I've just noticed that they do these in metal. If I'd have paid more attention, I'd have probably bought these in metal. But these are our resin 30 years war figures. I just got 2 musketeers, an officer, which I can take whether it's a musketeer or not, I don't know. But again, I like the face. He's got his apostles there. Yeah, I like that. See he's got his even the wrinkle in the socks, stockings, whatever you want to call them. We've got some nice bits of, what do they call them? Rosettes, lace, whatever you want to call them, but I like them. It just gives each figure a bit of character. We've got our short sword. Again, it's resin, so it's fairly decently cast. Well, it's very decently cast, but a bit of thrift there. Look, that'll just come off in your fingers. All on one casting plug. Here's his arm. So he's got that on his shoulder with his, because I forgot which ones I picked. And obviously he's got his rest there for the musket. That's one. And I chose one musketeer with I can't for the life remember what the helmet, I think it begins with a C, but I can't remember. But for that type of helmet for the period. And again, lovely facial details. Quite small faces, as faces go on this scale. I have measured them, and they are in the like 28mm type of range, so they're not overly big, overly small. Again, I like that. Again, nice touch, that getting the socks rolled down there, stockings, garters there, supposedly to keep them up. Yeah, very nice. There's that. These could be like the Protestants holding out at La Rochelle, or the King Louis's army besieging him, or any other army around Europe for that matter. Here's our officer. A nice little badge there. Lovely work on the feathers again. Got the butterfly fronts to the boots, spurs. Really nice. I do like those figures. I liked them when I saw them. A bit of thrift again, that's nothing, that'll come off, no worries. And actually there's nothing bent in there. Now I'm not saying that you may not get another, you know, it's one of these things with resins. We've all seen a lot of my larger display figures, you know, you just as a sword in metal can be bent, so can these in resin. But these are all absolutely perfect. So guys, that's my look at Avanpost's 28mm figures from the Napoleonic Wars and the 30 Years' Wars. I'm hoping to get onto these, classic isn't it with me, I'm hoping to get onto these sometime soon. I'm at the moment, I'd had a stuff up with the bases on the Napoleonic units that I'd painted for a commission. I've got 3 units. A very large cavalry unit of Empress Dragoons to come at the last of the 3. I've done the Chasseurs of the Guard, 40 plus figures for those, but I'd had a stuff up with the bases. Classic me. I didn't order the wrong size. I just ordered the wrong ones for this particular unit, as there's more figures on each base. But that's been rectified. Bases got to me. Stuck down, they're sanded, bases have been painted tonight, and they shall be tufted over tomorrow, and they'll be off to the client a couple of days after that. And you shall see a video of those at last. So that's those. I'm doing a line regiment for the same client next, another French unit. This is in campaign dress, so there'll be different bits and pieces to that. So at some stage, and then I've got the large Empress Dragoon unit to do for him as well. But in amongst all that, these guys will be done. I have got the 6 Gauls that haven't got any farther forward since the last video, apart from a couple of bits and pieces. However, tomorrow, before I start on the line regiment, I will be getting those finished, and hopefully the Vietnam figures as well. So when I say finished, they won't probably not be actually based, but they'll be all painted up, and the rest of the shields on, and the Vietnam figures, they'll all be ready and you know, on a base. Then they've got to have a varnish and that. So realistically, it'll probably be early next week when you see those guys, but they will be done. So again, we're tripping through history at the moment. We've got these naps I'm just showing you. We've got 30 Years' War, so that's late, you know, was it late 1500s, early 1600s. We've got 1960s Vietnam figures. So it's on the wargaming painting front. There's a lot going on. We've also got obviously the bust. I've done a fair amount of the flesh on the face and the hands. That'll be ready to show you another stage on that. Also goggles have been done, so that will be another stage forward to show you, which I believe is part 6. So that will be up probably maybe the weekend, but probably into next week. The project foil, for anybody that's in, I know it's not a huge seller, that one, just showing you how I've foiled a bit of aluminium foil on an aeroplane. But the project foil will be up as a video in the next couple of days. The Focke-Wulf 190 I glossed over yesterday, and I will be putting the decals on, or starting to decal it, whether it's today or tomorrow, or tonight I should say, and tomorrow. And I've got my other little build in the background, which is another aircraft, and I did some seam work on that yesterday, primered the seams on it, and I was surprised how good it actually, my seam work's been getting. Didn't need too much aftercare on that one, so that will be, as I say, that one's going to be just shown as a reveal. I just wanted to actually do something for a change that I could actually say, oh look, this is what I've done. So that's probably at least another 4, 5, 6 days away from absolute completion, but that's coming up as well. So Right, completely off topic again, just to say I'm supposed to be showing you these figures. But would I recommend them? From what I can see, absolutely. Out of 10, it's hard not to give them a 10 because I do think, you know, facially, let's get this one up to camera. Facially, details like the plumes. The only thing that would knock it down is if the arms were hugely gappy or something. I don't believe they're going to be. Just looking at the way they are, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I tend to, I don't know what you guys do, but if I'm doing plastic figures, I tend to fill around the arms anyway and things like that. And as I say, the resin figures, I would have probably bought them in metal, but I'm just as happy with these. You know, I work in resin a lot, so it doesn't particularly bother me. And as I say, these guys are going to be, yeah, they can be used for skirmish gaming and things like that, you know, but I'm probably going to try and paint these up. Non-metallic metal, probably. And I'm actually thinking of, let's just, I'm not going to be able to get it, no, but the Lucien Rousselot, I can never do it. Lucien Rousselot, I think it's pronounced. I do apologise to my French friends. I'm going to try and paint him a bit in that style of that book, I think. We shall see. You'll know what I'm talking about when I've painted the first couple and I do a bit of a show and tell, and I'll show you the book. I have shown the book before, but you'll get the idea. Right, guys, thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I know you're just looking at nothing, but if Mez's Minis had actually done a card, I'd have propped it up in the background, and I kept trying to prop this up and it wouldn't stay up. So I want to give them one last shout out because I think the Avanpost, your stuff's decent. The service I got from these guys was first class. I'm not being paid to say that. As I say, I bought these myself. So that's Mez's Minis. Have we got a? Yeah, we've got a website on the back there. mezesminis.co.uk, and there it is on Facebook as well. Thanks a lot, guys. You look after yourselves. We'll speak soon.